Hey guys, welcome back to X's and O's with Andrew. For the very first video of 2022, I would like to kick it off with an interview. I got to sit down with Coach Chris Lemonis and talk to him. Let's check it out. All right, Coach. Last time we talked was in May of 2020, and I've had a lot of new viewers since then. So can you kind of fill us in on what's happened since then?
Since May?
No, of 2020.
Of 2020. So, man, we went through we had to go through that whole COVID time. That's what we kind of started talking the first time and getting our team back. And, we missed that entire 2020 season for the most part. I think we played maybe 16 games and had some high draft picks, and Justin Foscue and Jordan Westberg, probably two of the first middle infielders to go in the first round here. And they were both in the same draft. And came back to school, had a long fall, had a long spring in 21. Had a good spring, but we had some ups and downs, some tough weekends. Lost to Arkansas weekend, Missouri, SEC tournament. And then the guys caught fire in the postseason, and they brought home the first national championship. So it was a lot of fun. We've kind of gotten back to campus, got back to work, and, we start here in a couple days for our 2022 season.
Okay. Congratulations on the national championship, Coach. And what was the feeling going through your head when Cameron James threw that ball across the diamond to seal the victory?
Just kind of like finally, just relieved. I think that was the entire trip there. The entire postseason is so, so highs and lows, and the intensity is so high. I think there at the very end, I gave Coach Cheese a hug, and it was just kind of like, thank God, just one of those to where we did it. And, to be able to do it at a place like this with such a special fan base and the history and tradition of Mississippi State, the university itself is just that was some of the best parts of it.
And Mississippi State is really a baseball school. Everybody comes to those baseball games at some point during the season at the Dude to watch State go at it.
Yeah, they do. Go ahead.
And we know you and Coach Polk are neighbors and are good friends. What did he say to you after you won the title?
He was just happy. He was, I really, the funny thing is Coach Polk, he's here every day. He's already been to the office this morning, and he is my neighbor. So we're real close to each other. But the reality is I was walking out of the elevator. This is before the game. I don't even remember what he said after the game. He probably gave me a hard time about something, but before the game, I ran into him, and we were the only two people in the hallway. And he's usually always giving me a hard time, picking at me. And not that we don't give it back to him, but he, when I saw him in the hallway, you could tell it was a big day to him too. And he just, hey, good luck. This is a big one. Yeah, it's a big one, Coach. And I could just tell how much it meant to him. I was fired up. He coaches in the Cape Cod League. So our university, they flew him in, got him there. He got to hang out for that whole series. And our fans, he's just so beloved by our fan base and everybody around our program that it was just, we have so many former players that were there, and it was great for him to be there. So it was a pretty cool experience with him.
So we've talked about the College World Series, winning it, but to get there, you had to take down Texas in that game to get there. So Tanner Leggett, I believe, is up to bat and hits a line drive. What were you thinking when you saw Braylon Skinner, one of your fastest players, come around third base, heading to home plate?
It was kind of surreal. It was kind of out of moment. I remember sitting there. I put my hands up because right when it happened, the funny part is their guy was pitching so good, we couldn't get a guy on base. He's got a 1-2 count on Kellum and hits him in the foot. And in like a 2-pitch sequence, the game's over. Braylon steals the base and Tanner gets the hit, and you're kind of sitting there like, what just happened? And we're going to the ship. It's kind of the mentality the kids had. And it was just, it's so much fun in that environment to watch your kids celebrate. I think we're taking that big picture of Braylon, and I actually have that picture of Braylon scoring on my other monitor. You may not be able to see it, but Braylon's right here on my monitor. Mm-hmm. See him scoring? That's what I look at every day, because that moment of joy of our kids coming out of the dugout and just celebrating it's pretty cool. I think back, and I say it every time I speak. I think Tanner Leggett probably had the biggest hit in Mississippi State history. And the funny story about Braylon and Tanner, they're best friends. They went to the same junior college, and but they haven't played a lot to that point, and so, last couple of weeks they had kind of had to sit in the dugout and watch everybody else play. And that's hard to do when you're a really good player like they are. And they stayed invested and cheered and showed up, and they worked. One of the reasons Tanner was at the plate is Coach Gotro kept telling me, Tanner's swinging it good right now. He's really swinging it good right now. And Coach was right. Coach Gotro was right. He was swinging it good and got the biggest hit. So there's a lot to be said for staying invested. And, we always don't get what we want, and sometimes you just play behind a really good player and wait your turn. And if you do it the right way, good things will happen.
Mm-hmm. And Tanner Leggett, he struggled a little bit during the regular season, but once he hit that hit, I was so fired up. I was like, let's go. And then
I was too.
And then Braylon Skinner he's a fast player, can fly around the bases.
He is fast.
Mm-hmm. After winning the College World Series in 2021, how are you approaching this 2022 season?
Well, that's an interesting question because, we got back last summer and we had like 2 days and everybody left. Everybody went to summer baseball or the draft or went home. And so when we came back this fall, I wanted to let them, experience it and celebrate the championship. They did a lot of cool things in town, and our city's so excited for them. But now that we got back after the Christmas break, it's about 2022, and we spoke a lot about it, with our ball club about, we're not the defending national champions. I mean, we are, but we're not the same team as we were last year. This team has to go through their own trials and tribulations and experiences and different things that they do. So, that team became such a tough, hard-nosed team because of the journey they were on and what they had to experience. And this team's going to have to do it too. And so we've had a mentality of we're going to attack the next championship. That's kind of our process. We're not going to defend it. We're going to attack the next one, and the next one will belong to this team. And whatever this team accomplishes or whatever they do, it'll belong to this team. And it's just two totally different teams. If I had everybody back, then we could say, hey, defend the championship. But Tanner's gone and Rowdy's gone and Will Bednar's gone. And so this group deserves to be their own identity. So that's kind of been our mindset.
So how are you feeling about your recruiting class for this year? Are you confident in them? And how are your leaders going to have to step up, like Landon Sims? He's going to have to step up big time this year.
Well, we have a really good recruiting class, a top 10 recruiting class that showed up. So they're going to help us a lot. We got a couple special arms that'll help us, a couple special hitters. How much and what over time will be shown. I think that's some of the bigger pieces that we have to look and see. But, I like our group that we brought in. And then Landon Sims. He's going to be a starter this year, but he's been a starter his whole life. Last year was the only year he wasn't a starter. So him coming in here and getting a chance to be a starter will be a big piece for our program. We just got to figure out who's going to be on the back end. But, he leads vocally, but he also just shows up and does what a leader's supposed to do every day. And he works hard. He competes. He's a good teammate. And those are the things that you need out of some of your leaders.
So I'm just curious, with Rowdy Jordan being there, the fans obviously loved him. Who's going to step up and fill the position of center field? I'm really just curious about that one.
Well, we got two guys fighting for it right now. We got Braylon Skinner, we talked about before. I've coached outfield my whole life. That's my position coach that I coach, and he's one of the better center fielders I've ever coached defensively. He's got to do a little more offensively. And then we brought in a grad transfer, 4-year player from University of Alabama, Birmingham, who Coach Polk had coached in his time there. And he won. His name is Jess Davis. He won the Gold Glove for center fielders in college baseball last year. So we're trying to figure out that position right now. Who's going to play there? Who's going to do it? Another kind of wild card, Cameron James plays the outfield. He's run out there and played some center field too. But it just gives us some options for whoever's hot or not. My two center fielders, Jess and Braylon, they got to be good. They're both good enough to play defensively. It's what are they going to do for us offensively and be consistent offensively. So
what does the offseason kind of look like for you with fall ball and recruiting? After you won the championship, what did you go into after that?
we had camp, I think, the next day. So we came back and had camp, recruiting, speaking. It's been the busiest off season of my career, but I expected that when you do something like this. I just got home from Chicago, our national convention. I spoke in front of 6,000 people on Friday. Coach Fox got his award for National Assistant Coach of the Year, our pitching coach. We're speaking at the Mississippi Coaches Convention this weekend. I think Coach Fox is speaking in Louisiana. And then we have a coaches clinic coming up. I think we got 5 camps this month. So recruiting and camp and just everything that goes along with our program's just been really busy, but it's the world we picked. It's always busy. I like it when it's busy. I'm not real good when it's time off, even though I did enjoy my vacation this past summer. I went to a beach, Topsail Beach in North Carolina, where nobody knew who I was, and I could lay on the beach all week and get away from it a little bit. But I'm glad to be back. And even this week, we're back in the office. It's exciting to be back in the office. I'm very fortunate. I really enjoy my job. I got one of those jobs that are a lot of fun. So it's fun to get back to it.
So during the summer last year, they came out with a new NIL rule. How do you think that's going to affect college baseball?
Well, I think it's just college athletics as a whole. I think one of the biggest things, and our kids are in a good situation because they're very marketable as a college athlete, being that they play baseball at Mississippi State. But I just think, 2 nights ago, or maybe the night before, I guess it was 2 nights ago, was Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, the football coaches, are talking about the national championship game. And I think we all love it. I love the fact that our kids can make money off their name, image, and likeness of what's deserved. We just hope there's great regulation around it so that everybody has a less level playing field as you could be. So, because it affects the recruiting world, is I guess what everybody's scared about. So we all want the best players, and you just want to make sure you do it the right way.
So what are some things that you do to encourage a healthy team atmosphere in the program?
Well, we try to do some things together. I think that's one of the big things. They do things off the field together. They live together. Our culture, we try not to create pressure in our program. I don't know if that makes sense, but when you play here, it's awesome. There's 15,000 fans. You're on national TV. You're doing all these different things, but it also, it creates pressure too. So as a coach, I just try to, teach them the best way we can, prepare them the best way we can. And then, we spend a lot of time talking about culture and teamwork and being a great teammate and some of those things. And then the last piece is my door is always open. I tell every guy, if you need something or you have an issue, you can walk in my door at any time.
So I know we kind of skipped past the College World Series a little bit, but I want to go back and talk about that Virginia game that y'all played. What were the emotions? I believe in the 8th inning is when y'all did that special thing. What were the emotions going through your head?
Well, I think everybody was a little, we gave up the runs early, and I think everybody was a little down. And then their pitcher was really, really good. He had a no-hitter for the first 7 innings. So you're a little defeated, I guess. And we pulled our group up and we talked in the top of the 8th, when we were about to hit, and we had played a very similar game in 2019 against Auburn. In Auburn, we had a comeback win in the 9th inning against Auburn, and they had beat us the first 8 innings, and Virginia had beat us the first 7 innings. But we always talk about how hard it is to stop the momentum and gain the momentum. And we just had some big at-bats in that inning. And I think when Kellum got that home run to get us some runs on the board, I think that's when it changed everything. And when you get in that atmosphere and that crowd's cheering and your team's playing well, it's just hard to stop us at that point. And I think that's what happened in that game. But they were pretty dejected going into that inning. It took a big hit to kind of get everybody smiling and having fun again. And that was a big win.
So that night of the Virginia game, I had an all-star game that I played in, and we won 17-6. And when I got home and heard about the no-hitter through the 7th, I was like, that's nothing like our game.
That's right.
Nobody could pitch in our game.
That's how it is. And that's the game of baseball, though. You get, you can do it all different kind of ways. And so their guy was really, really good that night. That was as good an arm as we had faced all year long.
So what are some things that you like about coaching in the SEC?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is I get to be at a place like Mississippi State, with our fan base and our people and the genuine people that we have here in Starkville. I think that's one of the biggest. And then I enjoy coaching some of the best players in the country. I think that's a really neat piece, and not just coaching ours, but we get to compete against guys that you look up and you say, wow, that guy's in the big leagues, or that guy's playing here, or that guy's playing there. And I feel like we're at the pinnacle of college baseball and really baseball as a whole, because, so many guys come out of the SEC and they're big leaguers, they're all-stars, they become Hall of Famers, and we get to see them up close every day.
So, what is your favorite ballpark to visit? And it cannot be the Duke, even though that's probably the best stadium in all of college baseball, in my opinion.
It probably is. Now, this is not an SEC ballpark, but my favorite ballpark in the country to visit is Coastal Carolinas there in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They have a really, really cool ballpark in the way they did their ballpark. And I haven't played them since I've been at Mississippi State, but I would play them all the time in Indiana. Now I'm from Myrtle Beach, but I just thought they built their ballpark in a really cool way. And I thought it was a nice setup. We did play this year, though. We opened in Arlington where the Rangers are, and it's a pro park, but that is an unbelievable stadium they have there in Arlington that they opened up. And then we have a lot of great ones in our league, obviously, but I don't like to give the people in our league a lot of credit. And we have all the ballparks in our league. I tell recruits that all the time. You're not only going to play at the Dude, you're going to play at all these other great venues across the SEC. So it's a cool thing to be a ball player in our league.
So you were in Arlington. Was that when the ice storm happened?
It was.
Okay.
It was when the ice storm happened, and we had to share a plane with Ole Miss going into. We couldn't get there, and we had one big plane, so we shared the price on it. We sat in the front or the back, and they sat in the other side, and we all went on with our mask on, and we had a good trip. Luckily, we were able to go. So
I'm pretty sure y'all should have sat in the front.
I don't know I can't remember. I think one way we were in the back, one time we were in the front. So it didn't matter. So like I said, we were all just glad to be able to go and play. And I think what most people don't realize, because it's such a big rivalry, there's a lot of respect between the two programs, and I think that's one of the biggest things. It's I was telling somebody the other day, between our school and Ole Miss and Southern Miss, there's no state in the country that probably supports and represents baseball the way our state does, and the other schools in our state. But those three big ones, that's three really big baseball schools in a small population state compared to some others. And and then the way the facilities look and the investment the people have made in them, it's pretty cool.
And you talk about Southern Miss. Southern Miss can come in there and be any Division I team. And I think it was them that swept us a couple years ago. I think this was before you were the head coach, but they swept us a couple years ago. And I remember that.
They were good.
So I've been to some of y'all's camps at State. Do y'all still have y'all's father-son camp?
We do. We do a father-son camp in the fall. We do it on fall break usually. So that's usually when we knock it out and do everything. So we have a blast with it. We had probably 80 dads and 80 boys and their sons this year. So we had a really big group. Obviously after the World Series, everybody loved coming, but that's one of my funner camps to run. I just, being able to hang out with the dads.
And I remember going to some of those camps, and it wasn't just Mississippi State fans that came. There were kids from all other states that would come down to experience this.
That's right. Well, we have that this week. We have this weekend. We have a huge camp coming up. We have one the next weekend, and we have kids coming in from all over the country. Now, as they get older, the recruits start coming into our prospect camps and our ID camps. They'll fly in from everywhere, but we sign kids from California to the East Coast. We literally have kids on the West Coast, and we have them off the East Coast coming. And we just become a national brand. Even though Mississippi, Tennessee, Louisiana, some of those, Alabama, some of our bigger states are, we try to recruit most of our kids from, but we are getting kids from all over the country.
Well, Coach, thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for doing this interview with me, Coach, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Well, hey, I got one last question for you.
Yes,
sir. So they tell me you just made the Texas 12.
Well, I haven't made it yet, but I've tried out for it.
You tried out for Texas 12. All right, good.
Yes,
that's
sir.
A really good organization.
Yes, sir.
So now what age group are you in right now?
I'll be in 12U.
12U. Okay, well, good luck. I hope you make it. And I hope to see you here. If you come to Starkville this spring, you got to let me know. You got to come by and see me.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Have a great day. Hail State.
Hail State. Thank you.
Right. You got it.
Thanks, Coach. And thank you too at home for sitting down and watching this video. Remember to tune in next time. And signing off from X's and O's with Andrew, where sports come to you.